inside a dark hidden cave beneath the African savanna, tiny Ricky entered the world blind, hairless, and helpless beside the exhausted body of his loving mother. Soft newborn squeaks echoed through the shadows while little Ricky crawled desperately across the cold cave floor searching for warmth and milk. The devoted mother gently cleaned newborn Ricky with careful licks before curling protectively around the fragile infant to shield him from the dangers outside. Tiny Ricky finally reached the comforting warmth of his mother's belly and peacefully drank warm milk beneath the quiet darkness of the den. But outside the cave, danger was already approaching when a giant monitor lizard slowly crawled toward the helpless newborn hidden inside. The massive predator flicked its forked tongue through the air while its heavy footsteps echoed closer and closer toward little Ricky. Sensing the threat instantly, fearless mother Mongoose stepped directly in front of newborn Ricky and unleashed an aggressive warning hiss toward the intruder. Ignoring the warning completely, the giant lizard snapped vicious jaws toward the tiny den while terrified Ricky wriggled helplessly in the background. Without hesitation, the brave mother lunged directly at the predator and clamped sharp teeth onto the thick tail of the enormous reptile. The monitor lizard crashed violently across the rocky ground, but the determined mother continued scratching and attacking fiercely to protect vulnerable Ricky. Finally, the wounded predator retreated from the cave defeated while exhausted mother Mongoose rushed immediately back to comfort her newborn son. Safe once again, tiny Ricky fell peacefully asleep beneath the warm protection of his loving mother deep inside the den. Days slowly passed across the savanna, and soft fur gradually began growing across the tiny body of young Ricky. One quiet morning, bright, curious eyes finally opened for the first time while little Ricky stared innocently around the dark cave surrounding him. The playful young mongoose stumbled clumsily onto shaky legs while his proud mother encouraged every uncertain step forward. Soon the adventurous youngster followed his mother toward the bright cave entrance and stepped into the blazing African sunlight for the very first time. Ricky blinked beneath the harsh sun while warm winds carried the scent of dry grass and endless savanna across the open landscape. Other adult mongooses gathered excitedly around young Ricky and welcomed the growing cub into the powerful family group. Playful and energetic, little Ricky pounced happily on twigs, climbed warm rocks, and proudly stood upright while copying the behavior of the older mongooses. Then high above the savanna, A gigantic martial eagle spotted vulnerable young Ricky moving carelessly across the open ground below. The massive predator circled silently overhead before folding enormous wings and diving downward toward terrified Ricky with terrifying speed. A giant shadow covered the ground while frozen little Ricky stared helplessly upward at the deadly talons descending from the sky. Suddenly the entire Mongoose family exploded into action and surrounded Ricky with puffed fur and fierce defensive cries against the incoming predator. The brave adults leapt upward, snapping aggressively at the giant eagle until the shocked bird aborted its attack moments before reaching Ricky. Furious family continued barking, chasing the predator until the defeated eagle disappeared far into the distant sky away from young Ricky. Safe once again beneath the protection of his fearless family, trembling Ricky slowly emerged from the center of the defensive circle unharmed. As the seasons changed, Ricky transformed into a stronger juvenile mongoose, learning the difficult skills needed to survive the African wilderness. The determined youngster dug aggressively through dry dirt searching for insects and proudly devoured fat beetles caught with growing hunting ability. Ricky chased fast grasshoppers through the tall yellow grass while his mother watched proudly from nearby beneath the glowing savanna sun. One dangerous afternoon, curious Ricky sniffed a dark hole in the ground, completely unaware of the deadly danger hidden within. Suddenly a massive venomous cobra exploded from the darkness and raised its terrifying hood directly in front of young Ricky. The deadly serpent lunged repeatedly toward terrified Ricky while the agile young mongoose dodged the snapping fangs with incredible speed. Then, like lightning striking across the savannah, Mother Mongoose darted beside her son and fearlessly confronted the giant cobra herself. But she twisted gracefully away before biting powerfully into the back of the snake's head. Dust erupted violently across the battlefield while brave little Ricky watched the life and death struggle with wide, terrified eyes. Refused to release her crushing grip until the giant cobra finally stopped moving and collapsed defeated upon the ground. Victorious once again, the mother dragged the massive snake away before proudly sharing part of the hard-earned meal with growing Ricky. The young mongoose tore eagerly into the meat while strength, confidence, and survival instincts slowly awakened inside him. Golden sunsets passed across the savannah as tiny Ricky gradually transformed into a powerful, fully grown adult mongoose. Now a fearless leader, adult Ricky guided his family proudly across the African wilderness while scanning constantly for hidden danger. Standing tall atop a giant termite mound, muscular Ricky suddenly spotted a hungry jackal stalking silently through the tall brush nearby. The predator locked hungry eyes directly onto the Mongoose family before charging viciously toward brave Ricky across the dry earth. Fearless adult Ricky stood his ground, exposed sharp white teeth, and launched directly into battle against the much larger attacker. The savage jackal snapped deadly jaws repeatedly, but agile Ricky rolled away skillfully before counter-attacking with a brutal bite onto the predator's front leg. Inspired by the courage of their leader, the entire Mongoose family swarmed the jackal together and attacked from every direction beside Ricky. Adult Ricky leapt fiercely onto the predator's back and bit down with unstoppable force while the desperate jackal spun wildly trying to throw him free. Overwhelmed completely by the fearless teamwork of the Mongoose pack, the terrified jackal finally fled across the savannah, leaving victorious Ricky behind. The Mongoose family gathered proudly around their heroic leader while Ricky climbed back atop the towering termite mound beneath the golden sunset sky. The tiny newborn who once trembled helplessly inside a dark cave had become a legendary king of the African savanna, feared by every predator that challenged his family.